Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Wednesday, October 9th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. As high pressure weakens, the marine layer has become a bit deeper this morning. Low clouds are blanketing the coastal plains and some of the lower coastal valleys. Inland areas should clear nicely later this morning, but some beach areas will likely remain cool and cloudy through the day. This time, there are no mid-level clouds across the mountains and deserts, so today will be abundantly sunny across the board and there should be no chance for mountain thunderstorms. After a fairly long period of significant heat, the weather pattern for this week will be a nice reprieve and more conducive to comfortable temperatures. The strong ridge of high pressure that has been in control of our weather lately has weakened and has been pushed to the east over the desert southwest thanks to a weak troughing pattern over the eastern Pacific. This ridge will remain in place through the rest of the work week and keep warm and dry weather over the region. Luckily, not the type of intense heat or dryness that it did last week. A weak trough will likely move into Northern California this weekend that will bring even more meaningful relief to the region and finally cool temperatures down to near or a little below normal. After that, weak high pressure will continue early next week. Then a troughing pattern will likely redevelop mid next week. There will be around 1 to 3 degrees of cooling across the region today, with valley high temperatures maxing out in the low to mid 90s. This is still around 10 degrees above normal for the first half of October, but it will definitely start to feel a lot more comfortable than it has been recently. There will continue to be slow and gradual cooling through Friday, with around 1 to 3 degrees of additional cooling each day. With the weak trough moving into the state this weekend, there will be more noticeable cooling across the region. By the time we get to Sunday, valley highs will top out in the low to mid 80s. This will be much closer to normal October temperatures for the region. Some areas may finally even drop a little below normal. Temperatures will then stay fairly steady into the early part of next week. Humidity will also be an improvement over last week thanks to the weakening ridge and cooling trend expected. Minimums will mainly be in the 12 to 25% range each day through Friday away from the marine influence, and by the weekend, that range will likely increase more to around 20 to 40%. Of course, there will continue to be single digits and teens in many desert areas. The marine layer is expected to deepen as we get later into the week, and there will be more widespread areas of higher humidity across coastal areas. Overnight recoveries will be mostly fair to good away from the deserts for the next couple nights, with localized areas of poor recoveries in the deserts and mid to upper slopes. By the weekend, recoveries will be mostly good away from the deserts. As weak high pressure remains in control of our weather, there will continue to be no significant wind issues through the period. Winds will likely follow typical diurnal and terrain-driven trends. As the weak trough approaches, some occasional westerly winds of 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts of 40 miles an hour are possible across the mountain, ridges, canyons, and into the deserts, Thursday afternoon through the weekend. With the trough passage this weekend being so weak and so far north, mostly dry weather is expected to continue. There will be a slight chance of rain showers mainly north of Monterey Bay on Saturday, but any accumulation will be very, very light. Despite this, the weather will feel much more comfortable after such a long, hot summer. After last week's intense heat and dryness, all classes of dead fuels away from the marine influence remain critically dry, and many live fuel types are critically dry as well. In addition, ERCs are running around the 90th to 97th percentile in many cases. Check out this chart of 100-hour dead fuel moistures for South Ops as a whole. You can see from the blue line of observed fuel moistures that we are not only at record dryness for this time of the year, but also very close to record dryness of all time. So it is fair to say that the fuels are definitely primed for burning right now. The green line representing the forecast fuel moistures indicates that relief is on the way, thanks to expected cooling temperatures and increasing humidity. ERCs will also significantly drop. Even though we are expected to see improvement this weekend, we will still remain near record dry levels for this time of year, especially in the heavier fuels. The finer fuels will see some good improvement though. As a result, the overall background fire danger will still remain greater than normal for this time of year. Large fire potential will remain elevated through around Friday, as conditions remain warm and dry and fuels remain critically dry, though the lack of wind will continue to mitigate the threat. The cooler weather and higher humidity expected this weekend will reduce the large fire threat to much lower levels, and fuel moistures will notably increase. As for potential offshore winds, we are still not seeing any significant wind issues in the near future, so there are no major fire weather concerns right now. Though as always, we will continue to keep an eye out for them, considering our background fire danger remains elevated. Expect generally light initial attack activity to continue across the region through the forecast period. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Thursday, October 10th. Have a fantastic day.